All right, everyone. Well, after last time's stunning victory in Super Mario 3, we are now doing Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. I am pretty excited about this one. I think it's a fun one. And I don't have quite as much fear about my ability to beat this game as I have about some of the others. I've had some experience with this game. Well, actually, quite a bit. I played this one a lot, on the Game Boy, as most of us did. Trying to just figure out my buttons here. I think there's a run button. Okay. As many did, I played this quite a bit as a kid. This was like one of the few Mario games I could beat as a kid. So, I think that bodes well for my chances here. I was gonna talk just a little bit about, because I was like, well, I gotta talk about something while I play this. It's very funny to see these puke green graphics really, on the screen. They're just, I don't know. At the time, it was like, the Game Boy came out, it was just such a big deal. It cannot be overemphasized what a big deal it was, because it was like, holy shit, I'm playing Mario, but it's on the Game Boy. Like, I can play Mario in the car, I can play Mario anywhere. And like, this game's not incredibly long or incredibly, like, it's not the most interesting Mario game that's ever been made, or the most, intriguing or something. But it is fun, and it's like, it's as good as many of the other games. It's right up there. This is a weird feature of this game, is I don't know what these fireballs are. They're like not really fireballs in this one, but you can use them to collect coins, which kind of is an interesting gameplay element. The end of the levels, as I remember too, always have two doors. So you can go in the upper door, and I think that gives you this. Or you can go in the lower door, and that just gives you nothing. You finish the level. So I don't know, I just remember this one being fun and exciting because it was, a Game Boy. But I was going to mention, so I have a very distinct memory of playing this game because, okay, my growing up was weird because, so we had a dad, so there were 4 of us kids, right? And, we all shared the same dad, but me and my older brother have the same mom, and then we have a younger brother and sister. They have the same mom, who's a different mom than our mom. And it was interesting because, like, the lives we lived at, I can't really speak for my younger brother and sister, but me and my older brother, the life we lived with our mom was very different than the life we lived at our dad's house, for a lot of reasons. But, one of those reasons was my dad was an anesthesiologist, so he had money, and he had, the things people have when they have money. And, like, one of those things is your kids have Game Boys. And one of those things, too, can kind of be that, you can get multiple Game Boys. In other words, I'm sure there were many families that had Game Boys, but I don't know how many families there were that had 3 Game Boys. Maybe even 4 at some point. I don't really know. I don't know if my sister had a Game Boy or not, but I'm guessing at some point probably. So anyway, like, I have this very vivid memory of one time. So we had 3 Game Boys, basically because, well, I think it was 2 things. One, it was like, you know, kids don't want to share, and like, whatever. You know, I was a kid, so I didn't want to share. But I think the other side of this too is that, you know, I think adults probably, on the one hand, it's like, you gotta teach your kids to share. Shit. On the other hand, it's like, you know, I think if I was an adult, at some point I would get fucking sick of, like, regulating sharing of things and just be like, you know, it might be worth it for the exorbitant cost of another Game Boy if I don't have to, like, have this fucking conversation every time we're in the car. In other words, like, if, oh, damn. If maybe we don't have to, like, do a sharing lesson every time we're in the car, maybe that's better than if we do have a sharing lesson. Oh, shit. Maybe not having to do the sharing lesson is, like, the price paid. In other words, the expense of a second and third Game Boy. You're like, let's weigh that against having to do the sharing lesson every time we're in the car. And, so, you know, we would take these long drives because, being anesthesiologist. I promise this isn't me, like, bragging about my rich dad. Don't worry. We'll get to that really quick. Because I'm not like, oh, my dad was rich. Don't you know who he was or something? Like, that's not. If you did, you would know where this is headed. It's not really to my advantage for you to know who he was. Oh, okay. This is old school. Ah, fuck. This might not be as easy as I originally anticipated. Can I jump this guy? Probably, right? So, you know, maybe you buy the extra Game Boy because you're like, hey, to me it's worth it. I remember listening to an episode of Jordan Jesse Go one time, and one of the hosts, Jesse Thorne, has kids. And someone was like, can I get some advice for traveling with kids? Oh, this old trick. I liked how Mario 3 subverted your expectations on this with a little joke. But then we're right back there. So, you know, you're an anesthesiologist, you got some money, and you're like, you know what I like about having money as an anesthesiologist is it means I can do things like buy Game Boys instead of, you know, having these discussions. So when we're driving up to Keystone to go skiing for the weekend, I can get some fucking peace and quiet. I don't have to argue with my kids or hear them argue. We can just do this instead. And, you know, I get that, to be honest. It's like, sometimes I think that's what money is. So anyway, Jesse, on an episode of Jordan Jesse Go, a parent, like, called in and was like, I want some advice for traveling with kids. I know you've, like, flown with your kids and whatever. And Jesse was like, yes, I do have advice for this. He said, whatever rules you have about screen time when you're traveling, fuck it. He's like, just, you know, however much they want to look at a screen, because when they're looking at a screen, they're not bothering anybody, just let them look at the screen. Just accept that that's the, you know, the travel. You're traveling, that's how travel works. When you're traveling, you might look at a screen. And, you know, I know at home you have a rule probably that's like, you know, a half hour a day or something. But when you're traveling, just fuck it. So I think to a certain extent, well, my dad was not inclined to have a rule about this anyway. It's not like he would have a strong rule about screen time. Screen time wasn't a thing when I was a kid. Obviously, that's like a more modern creation, I think. But even so, I think that parents are obviously a lot more aware of that today. I think just because, I mean, probably because, you know, in our time, I think, like, my childhood was the time when it started to be common to, let's say, have more than one TV in a house, right? Like, when you you wouldn't be like outrageously rich if it was like there's a TV upstairs and a TV downstairs. So kid TV time was limited when I was a kid, if by nothing else than by the fact that you know, a parent would be like, well, I want to watch some shit, so, and we can't all watch our shit at the same time. So, you know, screen time was a thing. So anyway, the very vivid memory I have is we're driving up to Keystone. It's like nighttime. And me and my two brothers are all playing Game Boys. And I think we were all playing Super Mario Land. And it was like kind of a unspoken race, as you know, everything is when you're a kid, to see who could finish it. Most likely it was my older brother. He was like the best video game player of us, for sure. Far and away. Now, he kind of got off light on like older brother duties and stereotypes because I was not very good at video games. Like, I didn't think I was bad at them. But looking back, I'm like, you kind of stunk. So, you know, he might... Well, he's probably pretty good at them. He's kept up with his gaming, so I'm guessing he's good. But I don't know why that's such a vivid image in my head. I think because I was just, like, happy. You know, it's like when I look back and I was just like, okay, we're in the car, we're going up to skiing, and, like, I didn't really like skiing very much. It just wasn't something that I enjoyed. You know, I didn't like doing activities as a kid. Like, I did not like hiking, I didn't like sports, I didn't like whatever, and kind of made my family miserable with that, because, you know, if you wanted to get, if you're a family and you're growing up in Colorado, like, going for a hike in, like, Rocky Mountain National Park is, like, that's some wholesome family shit. But, like, you could not get me to do that for anything, really. So anyway, but yeah, the way that story goes, I guess, you know, to finish this story it was kind of interesting because we had things like multiple Game Boys and, you know, the newest, whatever, Nintendo system and stuff like that. We had all these things at my dad's house and we didn't always have them at my mom's house. But then, you know, like, my dad ran into some troubles, let's call it. Emotional, mental difficulties, and, you know, eventually was not able to practice medicine anymore, and ended up incarcerated, you know, basically for on and off from the time I was probably like 14 until I was probably like in my 30s. So, you know, that side of life has just been so weird because it was like when we were kids we had all these things. And that was nice. But at my mom's house, you know, later on, I was like, oh, we had, like, emotional stability and, parenting. You know, shit like that. It took a dark turn at our dad's house. And, like, I guess that's part of remembering this, too, is it just, you know, it makes me think about those times, because I'm like, well... You know, we had stuff, but we didn't have what kids really need, to be honest. And, like, more to the point, I guess, it's given me, I think, a different perspective on, like, what it means to be, like, rich. And, like, he wasn't, I don't know if he was rich. I guess it depends on your definition of rich, right? But let's not get all caught up in that. Let's just say he was rich. I've seen firsthand that being rich does not solve your problems. Like, if you have a certain set of problems, being rich is not going to fix it. And, like, I guess it's given me an odd sympathy for rich people and famous people and stuff. Not because I'm like, they're just like me, you know, I'm not stupid, but because I'm like, you know, I've seen both sides. Like on Wednesday and every other weekend, I lived in a house with lots of money. And then the rest of the... Oh, shit. And the rest of the time, I lived in a house with not lots of money. And one of those houses, things turned out a lot better. And, like, the parenting was better, and the, you know, it was a better environment. Like, if I had a kid, and I was like, these are the two environments. You can do money environment, or, you know, you can be sure that the parents are going to be this certain way. I would be like, let's go with the nurturing, helpful environment. And, you know, the money is great. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that money does not help and make life better. It makes life so much easier. It is so difficult to be poor. Like, you have to spend so much fucking time doing bullshit when you're poor. It sucks. But, you know, money is not gonna fix it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, money is not gonna turn an emotionally unavailable parent into a parent. And money is not gonna turn really bad home life into a good one. I don't know. It becomes a complicated thing, right? Because you don't want to say, like, money is meaningless, because I'm like, oh, money definitely has meaning. And it fucking helps a lot. But it's not everything. And yeah, I think sometimes it's weird, like, it's weird for me to see people sometimes seem to feel like money is gonna solve everyone's problems, you know? And it's just not. Like, it sucks to feel that way, but it just isn't going to, in my opinion. And you know, this is just very anecdotal. And it's just an opinion based on, like, well, I lived in a house with none money and a house with some good amount of money. And the none money house was better. The none money house was a better situation for a child. So, I don't know. I guess, too, like, this is the kind of thing I like to talk about in these longer forms. I mean, I don't know. Let's not go crazy and say that, like, that's what this project of playing Mario is about, because that would be a lie. But, like, this is about nostalgia. It is about thinking about the past and stuff. And I like thinking about the past. Like, I like thinking about what my life was like when I was growing up and stuff. But if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest about it, damn it, things weren't perfect. Not everything was ideal. And, you know, the past, like, I don't have, like, rose-colored glasses, but I guess maybe that's something I want to say about it, is, like, I don't think you have to, you know, like things about your past. I mean, I don't think anybody had, like, a perfect childhood, and I think we all had the things about our childhood that we would like to be different, and the things we would like, especially about our child selves, to be different, you know, because kids are often little assholes, and I was no exception to that. But, you know, sometimes you gotta let that shit go a little bit, because, it's not doing anyone any good. You know what I mean? Is it improving anyone's life for me to be like, ugh, remember when I was a little dickhead? I wish I hadn't been a little dickhead. It's like, well, you were, so live with it. But yeah, I mean, maybe part of, like, getting older, because this is Mario before 40, not Mario before 25, is, like, sort of just saying, you know, this is what the past was like, and that's okay. Like, it's okay that it wasn't awesome all the time. And it doesn't have to have been awesome all the time for you to have enjoyed things about it. And, like, I can still have those moments in my head, you know, of like, oh, you know, it wasn't perfect, but, like, when we were all in the car and we're all playing individual Game Boys and stuff, I'm like, life can be a lot worse than that. That was, like, a good moment. And so, like, I don't know, just, like, letting myself have those things. Just be like, you know, you can have those good moments. Oh, shit. Didn't think that guy was gonna get me. Woo! Damn it. The control's a little clunky, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm using a clunky control scheme here, or if it's because this is what it would have felt like. It doesn't feel quite right, though. Just to talk about this game a little bit, too, I guess. You know, why not? I do like... This one's kind of a unique one. It's got, like, unique facets to it. You know, for example, the shooty submarine and later airplane levels are kind of a different thing, you know, for Mario. Holy shit. It's just so funny how much my opinion on these, like, coins and stuff has changed. When I was a kid, it was just like, if I came in here, I would just immediately leave, because I'd be like, fuck that. I don't need coins. And now I'm like, well, if you want to finish the game, you could really use coins. TBH. Oh, fuck. That was just straight up, I pushed the wrong button. What an amateurish mistake. Oh. Yeah, the shooty levels are pretty unique. Oh, fuck. There's like a lot of oh, okay. The enemies, there's lots of enemies in this game that don't really appear in other oh, shit. That don't really appear in other Marios. You don't fight a lot of giant spiders. You know, you don't fight a lot of... I don't know what, like... Easter Island heads. Hmm. You know, the other games, you just don't... And the bosses are kind of all different, so... I like that about this... Ah, damn it. I keep pushing the wrong button. I should probably switch the button scheme if I can. I don't know if I can. Probably not. But it's kind of fun that they did that, I think, that they gave this game so much variety. I don't know that they needed to. So maybe that's why I like it, too, because I'm like, oh, it's fun that they kind of went this extra mile. Oh, fudge. Man. Okay. That was a kind of a nice place to die. Suppose you're supposed to jump on those rocks instead of just going through, but fuck it. Sometimes we do what we can with the tools we're given. I do like the music in this one, weirdly. I mean, it's kind of like tinny and awful on the ears, but also great in a way. I sort of just love to, like, transforming into that monster and then, you know. Oh boy. This seems vaguely racismo. Da 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 da. Although, this was made in Japan, right? So, is this supposed to be Japanese? Is it supposed to be Chinese? I'm not sure. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna need to stop doing that at some point. Maybe I should just always hold down the run button. Then I'll know. I think those guys come back to life. Like they're immortal. Uh-oh. They had me surrounded. Da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Right? That's the stereotypical Chinese music. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Damn. Kinda hoping he'd jump right in that pit. Oh. What? Really use a mushroom. I think that would really... Oh, I should have nailed that guy as I flew over the pit with him. That would have really sowed his oats. Is that a thing? That was kind of a ballsy accident. I did not actually know if I could jump on a bullet. This Game Boy game does do this, where it like kind of repeats on a theme sometimes. Not my favorite thing. Mostly because, I don't know, I screw up. And so then when I die because I screwed up on a thing I've kind of already done, it makes it that much more humiliating. My gosh. This one does let you get away with a level of sort of jumping up towards things. And you come out on top. That other games do not. Other Mario games. Oh my god! Relentless. Okay. Alright, we did it. We did that. That one gave me some trouble. I don't really remember this world as well as the others. I guess that makes sense. It's a little further along, huh? I remember this music, though. Oh. The exploding turtles is fun, too. Oh my god. Just as far as, like, things that are a little bit unique in the game. This just has, and like, I guess, you know, I don't want to say like, oh, this is unique and that's unique. Because it's like, I don't really know. For all I know. I'm sure at some point, since this game has been made, somebody was like, let's put a exploding turtle in one of the games. But, I didn't know if I could jump on that guy. Doesn't feel like I can. Alright. Whoa! That's not even a boss, that's just a big cartoony looking snake. That was lucky. Oh. Idiot. Oh, man. Oh, okay. That wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought I was right back at the beginning. I don't know, it's like, I think in a lot of ways this is one of the more forgotten Marios. I mean, probably because it is short. So, you know, it doesn't quite off... Oh, you're back! The waffles are back. There was one thing they were going to take from Super Mario 3, I would have hoped it would not be this. Oh, damn it. Fuck. I really keep running into the pits here. It's the pits. Oh, jeez. It is a shorter game, so I could see it not having quite the legacy. But it's gotta be... I gotta imagine it's one of the top-selling Mario games, simply because if you had a Game Boy, you had Tetris, and you had this, for sure. Now, anything else you had was kind of a crapshoot. Could be anything. But those two are like as close as anyone gets to a guarantee in life. I don't know. I would like to meet the person who's like, I had a Game Boy, but I never played Super Mario Land on it, because I'd be like, what? How? And I want to be clear, a Game Boy at the time of the Game Boy's, you know, heyday. Like if you got a Game Boy Color when you were 19, because you had like gaming nostalgia, or that was like... Or you were like me and you got a Game Boy Advance when you were like 19 because you were like, I have this really dumb job where I don't really have to pay attention. And, you know, this is a great time to try and play Metroid 2, which was like impossible, by the way. I thought about, you know, other games to play through before I settled on Mario. And Castlevania was one I thought of, except I've played like 1 through 4 for sure. And I was like, I don't know, Castlevania 3 was hard enough for me. Okay, this is the last stage, I think. So, we're getting close. Castlevania 3 was so difficult that I was like, I don't really want to play it again. Like, it became unfun at a point. And Castlevania 1 kind of gets there too for me. So, you know, for me, those games are like... They're kind of fun, but, you know, the fun is in that they're just unbelievably difficult. And having already done it, I was just like, the desire to do it again is not there. Like, I just don't have that want to do that. And I didn't think it would be very fun. I thought it would be frustrating. And I thought it would be a lot of watching me play the exact same sequences over and over and over. The good thing about playing like a Castlevania, for example, is you can, you know, you got password system. So it's like, well, eventually you would get past certain things and, you know, not have to worry about watching the same thing too many times, probably. But I must have played the last stage of Castlevania 3 like 100 times. Like, that's not even really exaggerating. That's like, for real. It was just so difficult, and it's so long. It's such like a slog. I remember this. There's like a, you know, you gotta like hurry ahead. Because if you're waiting towards the back, you won't make it through that in time. But yeah, I always felt that, you know, not always. I took on Castlevania a little bit later in life, and am happy that I beat it. But it's kind of was less about being like, what a fun game, and it was just more like, I'm up to the challenge, you know? Oh, shit. Oh, shit! punching fists. You're just like, let's put something in here, I guess. Wah! Alright, here we go. This is when it gets real. I actually don't know who this is. So many things. Okay. Tan, tan, tan. I really liked the end music on this game. It felt very victorious. Your quest is over. Ta-na-na-na. Gunpei Yokoi. Naturally. Well, there you go. That was Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. That is almost... I'm going to say that is certainly going to be the fastest one. It's been the fastest one so far, by far. But I reckon that'll be quick. You know, 3 felt quick in a way, but when I was kind of thinking back on it, I was like, I mean, I probably played it for 12 hours or something like that, which isn't a really long time, but... You know, I probably played original Mario for about a similar time amount. It's a much shorter game, but you know, you've got a lot less margin for error in that game. Typical plumber. Typical 1%er plumber in his fucking private jet. Figures. Well, I'm gonna leave you with... I'll just let this music run a little bit. And then I'll see you next time. I think next time we're at Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, which brings us to our nemesis, Wario. That one will take longer.